government agencies as well as non-state actors have been conducted for many years, and we are quite active in the field. So we are happy that we have this gender session this morning in correlation with the gender session at the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. We have 4 speakers scheduled, and we would like to invite the speakers who are already here to come up to the stage. First, Ibu Ciput Eka Purwiyanti. Ibu Ciput is the Deputy Director of Gender and Environment at the Ministry of Women's Affairs and Child Protection. And the second speaker that we already have is Ibu Puspa Dewi. She's the Chair of Indonesia's Women's Solidarity for Human Rights. I also would like to invite Kate Lappin. She's the Regional Coordinator for the Asia Pacific Forum on Women, Law and Development. Ladies and gentlemen, given that we have so many sessions during COP, the Gender Session Committee has proposed that this will be in a form of a talk show rather than presentations. But if you have slides to show, that would be fine too. We had a video screening just now, and it will be uploaded on the Indonesia Pavilion website. Actually, there are several questions that I would like to ask the representatives of the Indonesian government as well as the Philippine government if she's already here, but since she's not here yet. Ibu Ciput, perhaps you can brief us on the current gender mainstreaming policy in your respective country, in Indonesia in your case, and perhaps you could also explain about the Ministry of Women's Empowerment and Child Protection.
Good morning all, and thank you to Amanda for the opportunity. So the Ministry of Women's Empowerment and Child Protection is mandated by the President to manage all the, and in policy development related to gender mainstreaming approach in Indonesia, as well as to advocate and facilitate all the line ministries to implement gender mainstreaming into all the process of policy development as well as planning and budgeting. So in terms of the policy, slide gender mainstreaming. Yeah. So we have 2 approach in the gender mainstreaming policy in Indonesia. We have national and subnational levels, both. They implement the gender mainstreaming strategy, start from the development planning, namely long-term, medium-term, and annual development planning. All this process is mandated by the Presidential Instruction number 9, year 2000, that instruct all the ministers and head of provincial level, governor, and as well as region and mayor to implement gender analysis during the process of policy development, as well as during the process of planning and budgeting. And then the budgeting itself, we start this initiative in 2009 by piloting in 7 ministries, 9 ministries to implement gender budgeting initiative. But now it's become a major strategy in all the ministries as well as the subnational level government to implement gender budgeting. But for the subnational level, we started the policy in year 2011 through the decree from the Minister of Home Affairs. I think that's for the brief overview of gender mainstreaming policy.
Thank you. Kate, let me backtrack. Can you share with us what your thoughts are on gender mainstreaming? Because we talk about gender, but some people have different perceptions on gender, and also gender mainstreaming. Theoretically, what is it?
Okay. First I want to say sorry that I was running in late because there's a ministerial this morning of women environment ministers for Gender Day, and it occurred to me when I was there that they have regional chapters for women's environment meetings, and there's not a chapter for Asia Pacific. And I was thinking, oh, and when I come here to the Indonesia Pavilion, I'm going to propose that Indonesia actually convenes that, because there's quite a few ministers in Indonesia that are women in this current government. So it would be great to see that kind of approach of women in the parliaments across the region leading on issues that connect women in the environment. But in terms of the agenda mainstreaming approach, I guess this is really something that different movements and governments see differently. For me, I think it's important to have both the approach of looking specifically at the issues that women face, and we shouldn't only have a gender mainstreaming approach. We still need to look at what is the space to build women's capacity and leadership, but at the same time be looking at how all of our policies and decisions impact differently on men and women, and that's effectively what we're talking about with gender mainstreaming. What is the different impact of policies that are claiming to be gender neutral but are not? So we know that climate change itself is not gender neutral. It has a different impact on men and women. It doesn't mean that it's not negatively impacting on men, it is, but there is a different impact on men and women are exposed more because of cultural, the histories that we all have of different roles of men and women, gender roles. And also, that's the first part, but the second part is responses to climate change are not gender neutral. We can make decisions about how to respond in ways that address gender inequality. So we can actually use the opportunity, as we've been saying, climate change is both the biggest potential catastrophe, but it is also an opportunity to say we will fundamentally change the nature of society, and in doing so we can think about how to fundamentally change the societies that are unfair and gender inequitable. So I think that's one of the things we can, have a discussion about. What would it look like to change that?
Thanks, Kate. Kate is the regional coordinator of the Asia Pacific Forum on Women, Law and Development. Now let me get to Dewi, Puspa Dewi. She's the chair of Indonesia Women Solidarity for Human Rights. Dewi, what do you think about the gender equality approach in climate policy and financing in Indonesia as well as in the Asia Pacific region?
I say in what is the climate policy in Indonesia, that Asia Pacific, because Kate will mention about that. Actually, we saw that the Ministry of the Women Empowerment and Child Protection, they already have a good approach and good effort how to do gender mainstreaming in the all ministry. That's a good point. But yeah, we still see that the ministry, the climate policy, they still see the gender mainstreaming in the adaptation part, not the whole on the climate change. So it's like when we talk about the mitigation climate policy, there's not yet the Ministry of the Women's Empowerment they involved, or what is the intervention on the gender mainstreaming in the mitigation climate policy. So I think that's one of the the homework for the next year, because the gender.
Climate change, I think, in environments where there's major gender inequality issues, climate change exacerbates it, and we have to think about that. What are the ways that we will challenge that as we also build a better, resilient communities? For example, one of the cases one of the statistics we mentioned in the publication, in Bangladesh, which is one of the most affected communities, in the most affected countries, but in the most affected communities, the rates of child marriage went up because simply the cost of livelihoods when you don't have any land is such a burden on the family that it's more likely to have child marriage and higher dowry demands. So we have to also be looking at these intersections between gender equality and climate issues and build resilient communities that can really demand justice. So in terms of responses, for us, I think it is really that we need to look at the local responses. Women are actually the ones that are living sustainably in the region. Women are actually the ones that have some of these answers. With the project, some women, for example, have had to turn to things like building.
We have a few minutes for the last round, and 2 minutes for each of you. Any experience and or thoughts on private sector involvement in gender mainstreaming, especially on climate policy and environment?
Private sector, they will choose to work with the NGOs, not with the government. Yeah, but that's okay, because in the mechanism in Indonesia, for example, for the International Gender Agency, if they want to support one NGO in Indonesia in the areas of women empowerment, gender equality, so the state minister, state secretary, they will ask our recommendation. So by this, we can cooperate with them. We can give them recommendation according to the national priorities to improve women's quality of life as well as to achieve gender equality. For example, the work with Mexico, it has been very, very significant, helping the cities to execute their programs in climate change adaptation and mitigation. A lot of CSR program has been delivered to these 8 cities. I want to mention that right now,